What are you?
I'm the one whom man fears.
How I Made Mary Meets Death. Hello everyone, welcome to the Pandas feed. I'm your host, Chewy, and I work in the virtual production industry. Today I'm going to walk through how I recreated Mary Meets Death, a short inspired directly by an incredible piece from artist Gretch Villa. This is not going to be a tutorial, but more of my journey and workflow in creating this short. With that being said, let's begin. The start of this project began right after I wrapped up the Bad Decisions Unreal Ultimate course. That course was a blast. It pushed me outside my comfort zone. I don't normally do all the lighting, camera work, motion capture, or even compositing for that matter, by myself. I usually end up working with someone with years of experience. So it was a lot of fun doing this all on my own. I also honestly made it much harder on myself by creating a custom storyline, but I'm happy that it actually pushed me to improve even faster. Right after finishing, I even entered their title sequence contest and ended up being one of the winners. So, big win, huge win for me. But after that, I needed more. Especially after feeling some burnout from work. This was refreshing. It brought back my passion, and I just needed to do much more of this. I started scrolling through Instagram, hunting for short-form horror stories. That's when I stumbled across Gretchen's work. Her style, mood, and gothic horror vibe instantly hooked me. I knew I wanted to recreate one of her shorts, shot for shot.
What are you?
I'm the one whom man fears.
So of course, I had to reach out for permission, as a courtesy, since I didn't want her or anyone to think I'd be stealing their work. And she kindly gave me the green light, as long as I credit her, which of course, no problem at all. I kicked things off by grabbing some free assets from Unreal's Fab Store. From there, I modeled and textured whatever else was needed. The original scene featured a pitcher, bowl, dead flowers, and a bed. So those were key items that I needed to include. I also researched Victorian hospitals for reference. Because of that, I added details like paintings, candlelight, and even a fireplace. Once the set felt right, I shared a render on social media under the Pandas feed. My initial lighting setup was based around Nosferatu, but learning more about the artist, I quickly realized that is not the style that I'll be using in the end. Next up was Mary herself. Using Unreal Engine 5.6's MetaHuman Creator, I pieced together her look. There were some limitations, especially around hair, but overall I was happy with the results. The dress was trickier, but I found a free Victorian dress from the Fab Store and modified it in Maya to make it look much more like a nightgown. Then I brought it into MetaTailor for rigging. Then, of course, I used Chaos Cloth for her dress simulation. I'm not going to go too much into detail as I have a previous video on Chaos Cloth and how I used it, specifically for Mary and Death. You can check out in the video details below. For Death, I did have to model the hood and cloak in Maya and then bring it into Unreal. In Unreal, I used Chaos Cloth for the simulation, of course. I did find a little glitch in the process, and I found out that in order for the cloth to simulate correctly, you have to put it form-fitting around the character or object. And it can't just be what I would do in Maya is just create this cylinder without the cap in the center and let it simulate down as a cloak. Not in Unreal, you have to kind of put it in the rough shape that you want it to be in. After his hood and cloak were complete and simulated, I had to create his Raven's mask. That was created, I then attached it to his rig, darkened all his details, and he was done. Alright, so now here's the full getup. We got the gloves on this time, and I have the iPhone connected to face mocap. The raw mocap was a little messy. Mary's posture was crooked, arms clipping through her body, and Death wasn't any better. so both of them required a lot of cleanup. And I even posted online the initial raw mocap compared to the first pass of an initial cleanup. This was an overall raw cleanup, not really tied to any camera specific. But of course, the final product, I did have to make all the corrections shot specific. Cleaning this up in Unreal was tedious, but I continued on until I found the movement to feel much more natural. Is it perfect? No, but I think it ended up working well. And of course, the finishing touch was adding facial motion capture to Mary, which I feel really brought Mary to life. While I was deep into mocap cleanup, Gretchen started a Draw This in Your Own Style challenge, and I took a break to join in, posing both characters in Unreal using Control Rig. It was refreshing to do something more artistic versus technical. The mocap cleanup was tedious, just a lot of clicking, making sure additive layers aren't destroying the initial mocap. So this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making this piece. It felt like making a cover for a magazine. Once the animations were clean, I moved on to rendering. Compared to my earlier Bad Decisions short, this was much easier. Because all the shots were already designed, I wasn't going to be hunting for anything. I matched the references shot for shot, and rendered about 20 sequences. There was of course the end credit card and the actual audio itself. And since I did render this out of Unreal with a kind of log-like look, it allowed me to do some color correction in DaVinci Resolve. I just ended up doing some quick color grading and adding some film details and touches. And with that, the project was complete. Here's the final render of Mary Meets Death.
Doctor, come quickly. Doctor! What are you?
I'm the one whom man fears. I'm the one you call Death.
You... Tim...
No. Life is an hourglass, my lady. It inevitably runs out, and everyone's amount of sand is different. This man's sand is gone.
I don't understand. Then what? You're a demon that takes souls.
You may think of it that way.
Thanks so much for watching, and again a huge thank you to Gretchen Villa for letting me recreate her story. You can check more of her story out on her Instagram under Gretchen Villa. You can also follow me under the Pandas feed for more.